In 1937, J.R.R. Tolkien released The Hobbit, a book which has sold over 100 million copies, making it one of the top 10 most sold books in history. Following the release of The Hobbit came the potentially even more well-known sequel, The Lord of the Rings. These three books have since been the source of one of the largest cinematic undertakings in Hollywood history, and also one of the highest-grossing trilogies ever. The point is that these stories and the world of Middle-earth in which they happen have played an influential role in the imaginations of the people of Earth. And since the story of The Hobbit is set 60 years prior to The Lord of the Rings, there's some curiosity about the details of what happened during those 60 years. For instance, when Bilbo, the Hobbit protagonist, sets off on his unexpected journey with a band of dwarves and a wizard, a character we all know, Aragorn, would have been 10 years old, which means that Aragorn was 87 when he traveled and protected Frodo during The Lord of the Rings. During The Hobbit and leading into Lord of the Rings, Aragorn would have been raised in the protection of Elrond and traveled with his elvish brothers all across Middle-earth. He joined the Dúnedain, a group of men who shared his Númenórean descent, a lineage which gave Aragorn longer life than the average human. And perhaps most interestingly, Aragorn was asked by Gandalf during those 60 years, which separate the two stories, to track down the creature Gollum and attempt to discover the true story of the whereabouts of the Ring of Power. Aragorn also went undercover in Gondor's army to fight against Sauron, something you can learn more about in a link below. A group of dwarves also attempts to re-inhabit the ancient dwarven mines Khazad-dûm, or Mines of Moria, during these 60 years. A journey which we discover in the Fellowship of the Ring was, for many dark reasons, absolutely unsuccessful. Also, the kingdoms of Middle-earth changed rulers, with Theoden, king of Rohan, taking the throne during these 60 years, and Bard the Bowman taking up the leadership of Lake Town following The Hobbit. All in all, what we see is that Tolkien, in his characteristic thoroughness of lore, didn't begin his sequel, The Lord of the Rings, without a well-informed picture of what had happened in Middle-earth since Bilbo returned to the Shire with the infamous ring.